I suppose a couple of you are wondering where I've been the past few weeks, and the answer is that I just finished my second semester of PA school. Cue the music. It's good to see you guys and finally touch base with you after what seems like a couple of weeks of being at AWOL. However, we have been studying and working very, very hard since May of this year. Our program starts in May and continues throughout the year until this point in December. So it feels super good to finally be on break and to relax. However, there are some things that I would like to do during this break to keep my mind fresh and ready to go for the upcoming semester. So I thought it'd be fun if you guys were to come along with me and see what it's like to be a PA student on vacation. Okay, we're switching to handheld because it's a bit hard to vlog with an iPad. So the first thing I want to do today is probably the most school-related thing that someone could do while on break, and that's to make Anki decks. So, preface, I need a tripod, first of all, so sorry for this shaky cam vlog, but with that out of the way, I think one of the most important things during this time period when you're like not constantly in school is to have some sort of way to improve your memory and worked on like that spaced repetition technique. I think I'll do a video on this later on, comparing what it's like to study with or without Anki. Fun fact, I actually did my first half of didactic year without Anki at all. I used Quizlet a little bit, but mostly it was just straight up objective studying and a lot of handwritten notes. But I wanted to compare it to this semester where I feel like I'll be using a lot more Anki just to try and solidify material that I've learned for my boards that are coming up when I'm done with everything. But basically what I wanted to do was compare last semester without Anki decks to this semester with the Anki decks to see if there would be a change in how I retained information, which I can already kind of predict that it will improve using Anki using their spaced repetition technique. It's worth a shot, right? So I'll do another video on that later. So my goal is to cover at least part of the dermatology section in this Pants Prep Pearls book. This guide, my friends, is the key for PA students everywhere. I used it throughout the first half of didactic year for each module that we did. It comes in 2 volumes, so that was the B one, here's the A. And it's really great because they separate it based on, I don't know if you could see it, but they're separated based on the subject. So super helpful, super useful because you don't have to lug around the big set all at once if you know what you're gonna be studying that day. So I am going to figure out how to put this down without shaking the camera so much, and then I'll try to talk to you some more, and then we'll do some Anki together. All right, let's hope this works. So you can't see it, but we're doing the classic put my phone on a stack of books and hope it stays. So anyways, I've got my desk set up and I'm ready to crank out some cards for dermatology on Anki. But I thought I would kind of talk you through what I do. So like I mentioned, I've got the golden ticket here with my Pants Prep book, and I'm just going to go through it. If I'm being completely honest, it is really refreshing and kind of therapeutic to do this when I'm not currently in school or in class, because I can kind of just take my time with it and kind of immerse myself in the material, which is really, I feel like only nerds say that, so sorry, that's gonna be me. But I'm gonna go through each section. Right now on Anki, I've made my dermatology deck. Right now it includes acne because I've done that last night, and it includes rosacea. And so today I'm going to continue through folliculitis and each of the different things in all of these sections. Trying to get through as much as I can, but again, I'm on vacation, so I'm not trying to overwork myself. So I think one thing I should clarify is that I say that this is studying for boards. I am only halfway done with didactic year of PA school, so I'm not as intensely studying for boards as I would be nearing the end of my educational path, so to speak. This is more for my sake to help retain information and keep my brain ahead as I learn new information as the semester approaches. Please know that I am not one of those people who just sits at my computer all day long during vacation and just tries to crank out cards. That is not who I am at all, but I wanted to get some stuff done today and I wanted you guys to join me. So if you have your cup of coffee, feel free to drink that while I type away here. So, one question that I was asked was, how did I change my study habits from undergrad to PA school? And I thought this was a very pertinent question to answer right now because I'm currently doing some of that on this vlog. So, one thing for sure that I changed going from undergrad to PA school was studying using my objectives as my guide. Now, okay, before you all come at me and charge, let me make something very clear. In PA school, you cover so much material in such a short period of time that you really need to depend on your objective sheets from your professors, because you're going to have so many different lectures from so many different lecturers, and they will focus on different details that are going to be all over the place. And the temptation will be to try and memorize every single detail, regardless if it's high yield or low yield or what have you. And so, though it was kind of hard for me, I decided to focus my studies using the objectives provided for me and then going through and taking notes correlating to the facts that I would need to know for my boards with this book. Again, this is not sponsored. It's not sponsored at all. I just really like the book. And if you're in PA school now and haven't heard about it, I highly suggest you go and check this out. Just Google Pants Prep Pearls. It's a classic. Not sponsored. Maybe I'll link it in the description below. But anyways, it's kind of like the saving grace for PA students. I'm a very type A kind of person. I have a very type A personality. And so in undergrad, I was tempted to try and learn every single detail. And what made that work in undergrad is that we covered a lot of material, but we definitely had more time. Fun fact about me, my major was in cell and molecular biology, so I had a lot of pathways and different things to learn, let's just say that. But we had a lot of time in between tests or exams, so I felt like I could thoroughly go through each individual PowerPoint or unit material or what have you, and try to learn every single detail to perform well. And while that did work, in my opinion, while that did work for me in undergrad, in PA school, there's just so much you have to go through in such a short period of time that if you focus too closely on every minute detail, you will find yourself, first of all, overwhelmed beyond measure, like overwhelmed. But also you'll find yourself focusing on details that are not high yield. Maybe I'll do another video on study habits and study techniques. If you're interested in that, put it in the comments below and maybe we'll have one of those because it'll be kind of fun to share. But one thing that I did to change was focusing the objectives, and I can show you really quickly how I did that. So I have the trusty iPad. The iPad is one of my favorite tools for didactic year because you're gonna have a lot of notes to take and I don't want to carry a lot of paper. Let's just say that. Basically what I would do is I would download the objectives, kind of like I've done here, for each module that was provided from my professors. And I would just straight mark up the PDFs, which you can do on an iPad, which is super nice and convenient. And I would take the information that we learned in that lecture, I would make notes, and I would use the objectives to sort out which of the material that we covered in the lecture was actually pertinent to what I'd be tested on. And then I would go through, after taking notes on the objectives, I would go through using this amazing book here to solidify key facts that I would need to know for my boards. And then together those things really helped focus my attention in studying because, like I've mentioned, you're gonna be tempted to try and learn every single detail. but unfortunately that's just not possible. There's just too much to do. In PA school, there are just some clinical things that you just have to know. And so going back to the Anki, I really believe that this will help my study techniques approaching my second half of didactic year, which will be kind of exciting because you guys can see the growth in my study skills along with me as I YouTube about it. But what I like about Anki so far is that it really does promote that very strategic, repetitive consistency when you're studying, which is another big thing that I had to change coming from undergrad to PA school. Because you learn so much material every single day, you have to find a way to succinctly keep up with the material that you've already learned. Having flashcards, whether it be Quizlet or Anki or however you decide to do that, is really helpful. And then having the marked up objective sheet is very, very helpful because you can, if you want more detail that you perhaps didn't put in one of your flashcards or that you want to elaborate on and compare to your notes that you took during lecture, you could just go to that section in your objectives and then compare the notes, read more thoroughly, or just focus in on what is high yield. I'm gonna continue studying for just a little bit longer and then we'll go off and do some other things. So, see you in a bit. So, after doing Anki for a little bit, I think it's time for me to up and get going with the rest of my day. So, a couple of you guys asked some questions on Instagram, which is super great. And one of the questions that I was just asked was, what is my favorite part about my daily routine? So one of the favorite things in my daily routine, for sure, is getting dressed and picking out an outfit that makes me look very put together and very professional, because I kind of developed this dress for success mentality in PA school and it's really stuck. And so that's why I'm wearing this today, even though I haven't left the house or anything yet. And then of course, my second favorite hobby would be coffee. So if any of you, okay, so I really love coffee. So if any of you want to have coffee with me, talk to me about coffee, if you want me to make a video about coffee, anything, put it in the description below and we'll make that work, because I think it's an essential part of my daily routine, to be completely honest. This is already like my second cup after making a latte this morning. So there you go. So something I didn't really think about before leaving the house was how cold it was gonna be out here. And so I went out and then went right back in to grab a jacket. But I haven't been able to sort through all of my clothes, so I was only able to find this jacket, which is perfect for the weather, but now it looks like I'm out to solve a mystery. So, mystery, I guess we'll solve it. What does a PA student do during vacation, you ask? She goes and buys Christmas presents for people, or at least attempts to. Watch me not find anything that I was actually looking for and find a lot of things either for myself or for other people that are not what I had intended, but I think that's normal. Another question I was asked, and that question is actually a pretty fun one. Someone asked if I could go anywhere in the world right now, if I could just appear there, where would I be and why? And where I would be right now, if I could go anywhere in the world and there was not a pandemic and things were very different, right now I would be in Malmö, Sweden, because there are some very special people that I care about that I would love to see. Cross right down to Copenhagen and see the third person. My friends know who they are. I care about you each individually. I don't even know if you're watching this. I think it would be lovely to be in Sweden for Christmas time. That's always been a dream of mine, but as it is, and as promoted, I am a PA student in some crazy times, and it is 2020 and I'm an American, so I will not be traveling for a very long time. I'll have to do my best to enjoy it here, which we will. We will have a great Christmas here. Anyways, I am off to the store and we're gonna go see what we can buy today for some friends for Christmas. Okay team, so I figured this is the best way and try and answer some of the questions that you guys have posted on Instagram and Snapchat already. So while I'm out on this walk vlogging, let's do one of them. Okay, so one of the questions was, if I had the opportunity to change my major, would I? That's a pretty good question. You guys are asking pretty academically centered questions. But I think my answer to that would be no. I think what's interesting about cell and molecular biology is that you get a lot of the detail as to the why and how that happens at the molecular level in your body. So it's very interesting to compare it to PA school, which is mostly clinical. So you see the outside effects of what's going on with the anatomy and physiology of your body. And for me, having that basis and the molecular basis and the pathways really helped me out, because now that I'm learning straight clinical application, it's nice to know the rationale behind it and what's actually going on. So we have made it to our next destination, and it's not time to shop, it's time for fika. We are in desperate need of coffee now, and so there's Ariana, mask on, and I've got mine, and we're gonna go and try to find some coffee to drink, so let's go. Okay team, so successful trip to Trader Joe's is complete. We got 3 items, all of which we don't really need, but that's kind of what happens when you go to Trader Joe's. So now we're going home. Okay team, it's the end of a good Monday, and we're back where we began, back in my bedroom. It's only around 8 o'clock, but the weather outside and just the fact that it's winter makes it look like it's midnight. So for the rest of the day, I think I'm gonna wind down, spend time with my family, read a book, and listen to some records. But I want to thank you all for coming along with me and joining me on today's journey to see what it's like to be in my shoes for a day. I noticed that a lot of you on Instagram asked a lot of questions about what PA school has been like for me, and I will address all of those questions in a separate video I will do for my mid-didactic year review, and I'll address questions like what my hardest class was, my favorite class, adjustments I had to make, or favorite memories. So just wanted to say thanks for catching up with me today, and I hope to see you all really soon. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye.